Welcome to my channel. I'm Roderick Coleman, and welcome to Diaspora Kicking the Bobo. Today, basically, we're going to be talking about the myths and beliefs that African Americans and Africans think about each other. One of the things that I believe is that there had been propaganda going on for 100 years in reference to African Americans and Africans. We're taught by society not to trust one another. Back in 1983, I was a freshman in college, and there were a few Africans who came to school. And it was an African American college, and we saw them there, but we never really socialized with them because we had our own beliefs of who they were and what they thought. They had their own beliefs of who we were and what they thought about us. So we never said anything to them. They never said anything to us. But little did we know that we were basically not learning a lesson on how to, get rid of the stereotypes that we have been taught by mainstream society. Mainstream society basically taught African Americans that Africans were always hungry. And you know those videos they used to show of Africans with the big bellies and the flies flying around them, and that they always needed money. Well, that's what they basically showed us. And then there was this movie that used to come on that was called Tarzan. And they inundated us with these Tarzan movies about this strong white guy. His name was Johnny Weissmuller. He was raised in Africa by the gorillas, and he had to defeat the evil Africans because the evil Africans wanted to eat them. And it was crazy. But that stuff was running in our heads. We believed that Africans were basically living in the bush. All of them were living in the bush, living around animals. Don't for 1 minute think that I believe that when 1983 that I believe that all Africans were living in the bush and different things like that. But I'm just saying that stereotype in which they tried to feed us, was there. Then you had a lot of Africans who thought all of us was gangbangers, lazy, didn't want to work. We were criminals because that's what they saw in the movies. Truth be told, I don't know any gangbangers. I know of some, but I don't know any. And I know a whole lot of black folks. All of us were pretty much educated and worked, did a good job. They put that propaganda out there that we believe, for us to believe that we were not as strong-minded as they were. And guess what? It worked for a long period of time. And then Pan-Africanism came in and tried to teach us better. Tried to teach us that we all should get along, that we all should try to pull together and make our race better, to achieve greater and better things. For my whole life, I believed in stereotypes. And I'm in my 50s now. And the truth is, a lot of those stereotypes I had until I was 35 years old, until I finally got to know some Africans, and some Africans got to know me. And in our conversation, there were some weird things that were said that we thought about each other that was not true. One of the things is as far as African Americans are concerned, African Americans had a traumatic history. Not to say that Africans didn't, with the colonization of Africa and all the things that they went through in that colonization. But with African Americans, the slavery thing, now everybody went through slavery, especially in Dominican, the other countries, the UK. But one thing that African Americans went through that a lot of them didn't, and that was Jim Crow. Jim Crow was horrible. Jim Crow was one of the worst things that we could ever go through. And that's what a lot of people didn't understand about us. Put it this way, if a person is raped, beat, and traumatized, what do you say to them? You say, you're gonna need some psychological help. Get some treatment for that so that you can get better. Well, what do you do when a whole nation of people has been raped, beat, demoralized. There's no help. They just set you free and put you on the way, and then allow Jim Crow to do what Jim Crow did. We were hung, we were beat, raped continuously, and nothing was done. And when a person killed a black man, guess what? They had a mock trial where they knew that the white man wasn't going to be convicted, just like Emmett Till. They knew that these guys did it, but yet the jury let them go. Medgar Evers, same thing. When Medgar Evers was shot, they basically marked the court and let the guy go. You see what I'm saying? We've been through all of that, but we rose out of all of that and became what we are today, a fine, fabulous people. Problem is, a lot of us don't realize that. Same thing with the Africans. They got rid of the colonizers, educated themselves, and they became a great country. Now, I'm not saying Africa is a country, but I'm saying there's countries within Africa who became great countries. Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone. Just think about it. If it wasn't for those wars back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they would be just as advanced as America. The cities are beautiful. Some of us still think they live in a hut. Imagine, this day and time, African Americans believe that Africans live in huts over there. It's true. It's their belief system, their thought pattern, those distorted thinkings that allow them to believe such things. And that's the type of thinking that we got to educate each other on about us so we can better get along, you know? This is how strong that propaganda is. Because when you're taught from a little child how to think about a certain people, then you think that way forever, unless there's education. For instance, we were taught that Russia was a communist country and that they were evil people. To this day, a lot of us don't like Russians. We don't trust Russians because they are communists. We're taught that socialism and communism is bad. And if you believe in socialism and communism, then you're like the Russians. That was them bringing us into their fight. But that's no longer my fight. We got to learn to stick together as Pan-African and do exactly what our forefathers would want us to do. But we have to come together and get rid of those stereotypes. Don't you know that African Americans have done more for the world than any other people? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they did everything, and I'm not saying other people didn't do marvelous things. But a lot of them did great things for their specific country. African Americans did things that benefited the world, the whole world. And that's the truth about it. We got to understand that African Americans are just not people over here running around with guns, killing people, and selling drugs. We're just not those people. Look, if you got 100 African Americans, you might have 6 of them that's out selling drugs and doing crime. The rest of them are just normal people. But here's what they do. What they do is when you come to this country, they tell you about us, and then they put you in the worst neighborhoods. And then you start thinking that all African Americans are like this. Not all African Americans stay in the inner city. And most Africans would tell me that. They didn't know that there are African Americans out there that were really, truly taking care of their families and not selling drugs and doing all this. Then African Americans would tell them, I didn't know y'all had big, beautiful, wonderful cities. I didn't know that you all had all of this land that you can grow things on. But they told us that you all were starving and that you all were hungry. I knew what that was. That was just a bunch of people who wanted money. Come to find out, that's exactly what it was. When you send your money to them, you show them these ridiculous pictures, and they get your money, and then they split the money up among each other. I'm not saying there's no Africans out there that's not hungry, that doesn't need help, but on the scale in which they put it on, it don't exist like that. So we got to get rid of all the stereotypes that's among each other and start coming together. And those who want to stay in those stereotypes, I'm telling you, just like in my last video, We gotta leave them. We ain't got time to convince them. What we need to do is come together, stick together, put our resources together, and come off from behind them, the others, and do what we need to do in order to make our families successful and make our legacy last for 1,000 years. That's what I think about right now, my legacy. Legacy is everything to me now. Doing what I need to do for my future family to survive. And I want you to think that way too. Coming together is a big thing. It has never been done before on this wide of a scale. Now, what I'm asking you to do is share this video with somebody, a friend, a family member. Hit the bell, hit the like, and subscribe. Because if you don't share it, the message is not going to get out there. And then we're going to still be in the same place that we are in right now. Got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to do it on a grand scale. Because right now, everybody is in a frame of mind to do this. And not just talk about it, but to do it. Remember, hit the subscribe button. Share this video with somebody. And hit the like button. Oh yeah, I also told you that I was going to tell you about my ancestry. Yes, I did my ancestry because, you know, I wanted to move to Africa one day, buy some land, and the easiest is to go to Sierra Leone. And because Sierra Leone, if your African ancestry tell you that you're from there, then, you know, you can become a citizen. Well, I was hoping that my African ancestry come back to Sierra Leone, but it didn't. No, I'm proud of my African ancestry, but because of those reasons, I was like, oh, okay, well, my African ancestry is 99.7% Nigerian, Yoruba. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, and I'm proud of it. I love it. I'm not gonna get any citizenship in Nigeria, you know, no time soon. Hey, it is what it is, and I'm proud of it. And with that, you have a nice day. Thanks.